In this bonus lesson, we're going to look at formulas in reports. Now, this is a more advanced feature, but as you get comfortable with reporting and dashboards, you're probably going to find this one useful. So we've got two different types of formulas that you can add to a report. There's a row level formula and a summary level formula. So if we look at our preview here, the row level is going to essentially add a new column to our records, and it's going to calculate for each row, so each detail. So in this case, each opportunity would have its own new value as a result of that formula. If we're looking at a summary level formula, then it's just going to show up at either the subtotal or the grand total level or across all those summarized levels. And the use cases for these is a little bit different. If you want to compare groups, then summary level formulas is what you're going to want. And that you might use to look at month over month change as an example. You've got your opportunities, in this case, grouped by the different months. Maybe you want to see what's the percent change from October to November, or even what's just the difference between the two, even percentages aside. Well, we'd want to summarize at each grouping level and then compare those summaries. And that's where that summary level formula is going to come in handy. Row level formulas is more about extending the data that you already have for that record. So to give you an example, we might want to calculate how many days has it been since that record was last updated. Maybe with certain opportunities, you have a process in your company to edit a active opportunity every week or twice a month. Well, we don't have a field that exists on the record right now that tells you how many days it's been since it was last updated. You could create a formula field on the object directly to calculate that for you and then report on it, or you can use a row level formula in this report. The outcome is going to be the same either way. The reason why you might want to use a row level formula is if you don't need this data point all the time. Maybe it's not worth creating that extra field in the database and then having to maintain that at the object level moving forward. Maybe you just need it for this report. Or perhaps you want to get more advanced with your formulas, and similarly, you just don't need it all the time. So if you don't need that data point all the time, I wouldn't create a new field for it. I would instead create a row level formula. Now to get to the formulas, you come over to the column section, click the drop down arrow, and you can see add summary formula or add row level formula. Let's add a row level formula to start with, and I'm going to call this days since updated. You can give it a description if you'd like, and then you'll choose your formula output type. It could be a number, a date and time, or text. In this case, we want a number because we're going to count the number of days since that record was updated. And I'm going to change the decimal points from 2 to 0 because I'm not really concerned with half a day here. Then on the left-hand side, you can add fields and you can add functions. So the field that we want is the last modified date. So I'm going to search for that. And we have last modified date right here, which I'll insert. And what we could do is say today, which is a function that pulls in today's date. And then we would subtract that last updated day. Now, if we hit validate, we're going to get an error. Here's our error. The reason for that is because that last updated field, it's actually a date time stamp. It's not a date only value. And the today field here is a day only. So we just need to convert this from date time to date, and then we should be able to subtract one from the other to give us how many days it's been since that record was updated. Under functions, we'll find that function that convert from date time to date, and that's called date value. It's right here. You can see a little description of it. And you can also get help with this function. That's a link that's going to take you to extra documentation. So let me hit insert here. And you can see the way this function is structured is it's looking for the input in between those two parentheses. In this case, that's our last update field. Let me close the parentheses. So date value is going to convert that last update from a date time value to a date value, and then we can just subtract it. Let's validate now. Valid. The error is gone. And then hit apply. Now you see on the left-hand side under columns, we have a new column called days since updated. And if you scroll to the right, we'll see it right there. And it's already calculating how many days has it been since somebody updated that record. I'm going to click save and run so we can see more than just the preview. And over here, looks like A lot of these records have not been updated in quite some time. So the salesperson should really get on that. Let's hit edit again. Now let's take a look at a summary level formula. It's very similar. We'll click add summary level formula. We've got fields and functions on the left-hand side. We've got our general formula area. And then we also have this display tab though. This is new. So you could have that formula show up at all the summary levels, just the grand total, or you can choose specific groups as well. Let's do percentage change from one month to the next. So this would be a month over month growth value. So we'll call this month over month. Our output is going to be a percentage because I want to see what's the percentage increase or decrease from one month to the other. We'll just leave it at all summary levels for now. And then on the left-hand side, we want to look at the amount. So what's the total amount of those opportunities? And when you select a field, in this case, you also have to choose what's that summary value. Are we just counting the number of unique values? We're getting the average or the sum? Because we're at the summary level. We're not just looking at the value in a single record. We're looking at all those records in a grouping. So what do we want? The sum, the minimum, the maximum. We have to have some sort of calculation or summary on that value. So we'll do sum. And then we also have a couple special functions when it comes to summary level groups, which let us compare one group to the next. So if you scroll down all the way to the bottom under the functions screen here, we have parent group value, and we also have previous group value. There's a little explanation of how those functions work. And so we could look at either. We could take a group that's part of a parent group, and we could do a comparison, like understand what is the percentage of this group from the total, or we can do previous group. So I want to compare this month to last month. And if you look at the description here, it's taking three different inputs. It's taking the summary field that we want. So in this case, it's going to be the amount. We've already added that. It's going to take the grouping level. So do we want to look at the grouping by month or the grouping by stage? Because we've got both those groupings in our report. That could be any value that you've grouped that report by. And then finally, it's an option to put in the increment. So this is how many groups back am I going to go for my comparison? Now, the default value, if you leave that blank, is 1. So if we're looking at September and I don't put anything in there, then we're going to be comparing to the month before. We'll be comparing to August. Now, if I put a 2 in there, then we would be comparing September to July. We're going 2 groups back. So we're going to do month over month, but you could see if we had multiple years in our report and it was grouped by month and we wanted to compare this month to the same month a year ago, then we would put 12 in there because it would go back 12 groupings or 12 months to do that comparison for us. So let's insert that function. It looks like our values ran together a little bit. So I'm just going to copy amount : sum just to put that in the right spot. So that's our first parameter there. Our grouping level here is actually going to be close date. If you look on the left-hand side, we can see, close dates right there. So if I start typing it, it's going to autofill, which is really nice. So I'll select close date as the grouping level. And then for increment, I'm just going to delete that because we just wanted to go back 1 anyways. We don't really need to put anything there. So here we have our previous group value for the amount sum grouped at the close date level. Now, what we really want, though, is to do a calculation here. So we want the amount sum of our current grouping, and then we can subtract the value of the previous group. So that's going to give us our nominal difference. If we made $100,000 this year or this month, and last month we made $80,000, that's going to give us $20,000. That's good. But then what we want to do is divide it by the value from last month to tell us what percentage growth that was. So I'm just going to copy that previous group function again. And what we have is this month's amount minus last month's amount divided by last month's amount. The last thing we need to do is just make sure that we're using our proper order of operations from algebra. So I'm just going to wrap that first part of the calculation in parentheses to make sure it's executed first. And then we will divide by the previous month's total amount. Go ahead and hit validate, make sure there's no errors. Okay, we're valid. And then under display, I want to choose specific groups, and I just want it to show up on that close date group. I want to look at from 1 month to the next. Hit apply, and then click save and run. It's going to hit refresh. And here, if we scroll down, you can see that we've got our month over month formula showing up, and the value is only being presented at that subtotal level at each of the month's groupings. And you can see what is the percentage of growth from 1 month to the next. Now, the first grouping has no output, and that's because there's no previous group to compare to. So we're essentially dividing by 0, which you can't do. So it comes up as blank. But all of the other groups, do have a value here. And you can see what that percentage change is from 1 month to the next. Row level formulas and summary level formulas are really useful, valuable tools. They can be a little bit tricky when you're first learning how to use them. So I recommend playing around with them, but then also doing plenty of Googling. We've got some videos on our YouTube channel that just walks you step by step how to build out some of the most common reports or use cases for summary level formulas and row level formulas. Hope you found that helpful. I'll see you in the next video.